are light, you are worthy, you are chosen, you are safe, you are whole, you are forgiven, you are precious, you are divine, you are the radiant, you are the dream fulfilled, you are the word made flesh. We are one, we are the temple, we are the breath, we are the spirit, we are creation, we are eternal, we are grace, we are favor, we are seen, we are known, we are abundance, we are rising, we are redeemed, we are redeemed. I love you, I am love, I am you, you love me, you are love, you are me, we love us, we are love, we are love, we are truth, we are God. I remember, I accept, I become, I am, I am, I am that I am. I am the light. I am the breath of God. I am eternal presence. I am the word made flesh. I am the silence behind the sound. I am the stillness beneath all movement. I am love, you are love, we are one, only love is real. I see you, I hear you, I know you, I love because I am.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good, good, bad, good, bad, bad, good, good. I hope you are all doing excellent today. Death Before Dishonor, Aaron, the wise guy, Christina, Angel, all of you, thank you for being here. Wise Guy's dad, brother, and friend are at the game. Why are you not at the game? You must be somewhere else. But thank you for being here. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I was just having a snack. These are coated peanuts. These are made here in Japan. This is not the only country they make these, but for those of you who can't read this, it says kohi and peanuts, and basically these are coated peanuts that taste like coffee. Very delicious, a nice little snack. There are a couple of reasons why I ate these just now and showed these, because I've got 1,000 subscribers coming up very soon, and after I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to put together a little drawing, and I'm going to have a small box which I will select one winner. I'll have a live drawing, and then everyone who has entered the drawing, I will pull from that list of entries, and the winner will get this small box shipped from here in Japan, and it will include some of these coffee flavored coated peanuts. But I have been picking up some little things. I'm sure some of you have heard of the store called Daiso. Daiso is a Japanese store. Well, it is a Japanese company. Not a Japanese store per se, but is a Japanese company. And I picked up a few things from there. And I have a few other things that I've been picking up. And I'll put all of those things into a box and give to the winner, including either a local baseball team jersey or hat, depending on which one is available whenever I go to pick them up. I also have a few postcards for some second, third, fourth place winners. So 3 different people will get postcards from Japan. I will mail them directly from my house right here in Toyosaka. So you will get, a few of you will get a postcard, and one lucky winner will get a box of little gifts and treats from Japan. How about that? Right now we've got Hunter Brown on the mound for Game 3 of the Astros versus the stinky Red Sox. The Astros started off Game 1 looking amazing. They got a little hairy there for a little while and let the Red Sox come back, but managed to hang on. Game 2 was like a continuation of that, where the Red Sox just kept scoring, and the Astros couldn't really put anything on the board. But the Astros were the last to score yesterday in the 9th inning. So the way I feel is that if this were a trilogy, it's a good trilogy. I love good fantasy trilogies, really big fantasy trilogies. And if you read 3 big, thick fantasy trilogy books, you can see an actual result like this. In book number 1, it seems that the heroes are doing really well, but then the bad guys come back. It's very close. It's a little hairy. It looks like the bad guys are going to come back and beat them, but then the good guys barely squeak by. But in the second book, the bad guys just totally destroy the good guys, and you're worried that it's over. But in book 3, there's a big fight, and it goes back and forth a little bit, but the good guys come out on top. And the Astros in this situation are definitely the good guys. So we've got this. We got this. Just like the Astros expression is, we are built for this. I believe so. And welcome to Steel Viper, also in the chat. Thank you for being back in. I am with you on that. I hope and trust that Hader's injury isn't severe. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be longer. Definitely going to be longer than 2 weeks, because if the first guy said, if the first doctor said, it's just a mild strain, maybe a couple of weeks, why would they bother seeking a second opinion, right? Why would they do that? They wouldn't. So obviously the first doctor, they didn't like what he said. That doesn't bode well. But once again, there have been so many injuries to athletes, and professional athletes are generally in amazing shape. The rate at which they can recover is often surprising. So let's have faith, continue to send him our best wishes, and prayers, and hope that he's going to be all good and soon. Today, Hunter Brown is on the mound facing Roman Anthony in just a few moments. Astros lineup for today is Jeremy Pena, Jesus Sanchez, and Jose Altuve. Sanchez is in left field today. Altuve is at second base. Christian Walker, Victor Caratini, and Yainer Diaz in the 4th, 5th, and 6th slot. Walker at first, of course. Caratini is DH today. I'm so happy to see Caratini in the lineup. Now, the good thing is that Joe Espada maybe has been listening to me, because he's finally separated Walker and Diaz. So it's Walker batting fourth, Caratini batting fifth, and then Diaz batting sixth. So we have the switch hitting Caratini in between Walker and Diaz. Wise move. Thank you so much for listening to Go Astros, Joe Espada. Let's see here. Ramon Urias batting seventh. At third base, it's kind of interesting seeing Correa not in the lineup today. But yes, he does have the day off. Viper, that's right. I'm sure he's available if we need him later on, but we'll see. Cam Smith is batting eighth and in right field, and Jacob Milton, questionable. He is. Whoops, I think I left the preview on the screen for much too long right there. That was a big boo-boo. The whole time I'm looking up here at the game, and I wasn't paying attention to my screen down here. That is going to be a copyright claim. I'm going to have to edit that out. Hunter Brown is coming in with the first pitch. A little outside, 96 miles an hour on the sinker. Ball one. Yep, you're right, old dog. Welcome in, by the way. Here is the next pitch, the 1-0. A little inside. So the first one, a sinker a little outside, and this one a fastball a little inside. Still Viper starting me off with like 2 complete breakfasts on that super chat. Thank you so much. That is freaking awesome. Next pitch. Woo! That next pitch was a couple inches below the zone, but the umpire was generous. 2 balls and 1 strike. I thought for sure that was ball 3. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. That's way low. 3 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the next pitch. This one's hit high in the air in left field. Sanchez is underneath it and puts it away. All right, that's a good result. On the 3-1 pitch, couldn't have asked for much better than that other than a ground out on that pitch. This is one I've been looking forward to seeing. Alex Bregman versus Hunter Brown. Here is where we find out just how much Bregman has Hunter Brown's number, or does Brown have Bregman figured out? We'll see. Here comes the pitch. Outside and low. The cutter misses for ball 1. I did put a live chat poll up for those of you who have a moment to look at it. I'd like to hear what you have to say, because I heard a little bit about what Chandler Rome said this morning, reporting about the Astros. I didn't like it. That's my personal opinion. 97, low and outside. Bregman is shaking his head with disgust, but that was a strike, my friend. It was just a good pitch. Go back home with your smirks. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the toss. Grounded up the middle. Altuve grabs it, fires it over to first base, gets it. He bobbled it there for a second, but was able to pick it up and fire out his previous teammate. Texas Repo, welcome in. I see your comment there, one of my members. Seattle has been on a tear lately. You're right. Give them some credit instead of blaming the Astros. Yeah. You know, to me, it's a combination of 2 things. The Astros have been beaten up, and the Mariners have been playing good ball. It's as simple as that. To say that they squandered it is unfair. That's my opinion. First pitch is in the dirt to Jarren Duran. 2 outs so far in the top of the first. 1-0 is the count to Duran. Here's the next pitch. This is hit high in the air, left field. Sanchez is underneath it, and he puts it away for out number 3. So a nice quiet start for Hunter Brown. With just 9 pitches, Hunter Brown gets through the first. That's a good start. A little ground out, a couple of fly outs. I like innings like that for Hunter Brown more than I like to see him striking guys out, because if he strikes out 3 in the first inning, he could have 15, 16, 17, 18 pitches. I'd rather see 9 with 2 flyouts and a ground out. Let's see here. Funny comment by Death Before Dishonor. Will Chas McCormick need a day of rest before we can use him again as a reliever? You know, I know that Hader's injury is not a laughing matter, but at this point in the season, I wouldn't be surprised if they announced that Chas McCormick was going to be on the injured list because of shoulder discomfort after pitching yesterday. I wouldn't doubt that. I just really wouldn't. Yeah, and Old Dog, by the way, about your comment, we lost 4 out of 5 to the Sox. We really need to get this win for a couple of reasons. Probably 3 good reasons. Well, I think we have 3 good reasons, really good reasons, why we need to get this win. And one of those is to even up, well, the season wouldn't be, the series wouldn't be evened up with the Sox, but it would be closer. And we need to work on evening that up as best as possible. But keeping the control in the division, I can't even talk right now. 8:17 in the morning, you'd think I'd be a little more awake. But I did get up just a tad later than usual. That's what happens when you finally get some technical issues worked out. You don't have to get up 3 hours before the live stream. You can get up 1 hour before. Not quite as awake. I don't typically eat breakfast if I only have about an hour. Jeremy Pena is at the plate. First pitch from Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler has no day off today. 1-0 is the pitch count. He's facing Jeremy Pena. The stands in Dyking Park look pretty empty, at least from this angle. Fastball fouled off. The count's 1-1. Old Dog, are you serious? Why do the Angels get a triple play against the Dodgers? I haven't seen one all year long. I just want to see the Astros pull off one live. For one time in my life, I want to see it live. You know what I'm saying? Here comes the next pitch. Okay. Hang on just a second. 2 balls and 1 strike to Pena. Here comes the next pitch. Lone outside, 3-1. You said the chat is disabled. It shouldn't be, but I will take a look at it. Okay. Pena hits it really deep. It's gone. Hey, look at that. While I'm trying to mess around with the live chat, Pena launches one into the Crawford boxes. How about that? 1-0. Jeremy Pena with a leadoff homer for the Astros. We are up 1-0. Now that's the way I like to see this game start off. Absolutely. Yeah, the live chat is working here on the page, but he's talking about actually on my screen in the software. That's right. Because I have an extra step I have to do to get it to work. 94 miles an hour up and out for Jesus Sanchez. 1-0 is the count. Yeah, it'll take just a moment for me to get that live chat. 94 miles an hour right in there. 1-1 to Sanchez. Here comes the next pitch. 90 miles an hour right in there. 1-2 is the count. I actually have to get the pop-out chat. The pop-out chat has a link. Sanchez hits a line drive out to left field, an opposite field hit there. And that was a nice looking hit, but it was caught for out number 1. Altuve will come to the plate. There we go. Live chat is fixed. Thank you for pointing that out. Here's the next pitch. First pitch to Altuve. 94 miles an hour right in there for strike 1. Yeah, this new software is a little different. That's one thing that's actually better in the Prism software, is that you don't have to add any extra information for the live chat. 87 miles an hour on the slider, fouled off by Altuve. 0-2 is the count. 1-0 in the bottom of the first. The Astros with 1 hit and 1 run, courtesy of 1 flash. Jeremy Pena. Now, what can Altuve give us the snap? That pitch was out of the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, Shake, it was pretty much the highlight of the day, right? That's in the dirt for ball 2. Oh my gosh, old dog, are you serious? It was Ohtani that hit into the triple play against his old team. That is hilarious. I bet you Dodgers fans were just really excited and happy about that one. Here's the pitch. Another one low and outside in the dirt, full count. Good at bat here from Altuve. He was down 0-2. Now he's got the full count. One out. Nobody on. Full count pitch on the way. Outside, ball 4. Look at that. Jose Altuve looking like a major pro right there. Taking the first 2 strikes. He took 1. He fouled 1 off. And then he took 4 to get a walk. How about that? We got a runner on with 1 out. Christian Walker comes to the plate. Caratini on deck. This is the lineup I like to see right now. I mean, of course, Cray's not in there at the moment. 93 miles an hour right in the middle of the plate. In this situation, I feel like even if Christian Walker gets out, and I'm not talking about a double play, if he strikes out, for example, we still have one other opportunity with a left-hander at the plate. He taps this one at the plate. Foul. Old dog, sweet Jesus, yes. Yes, sweet Jesus, yes. Top of the morning to you too, Robert Garcia, or afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Absolutely, let's take the stinky socks to the woodshed. Throw them in the washing machine. Might be time to just burn those socks. Here's the pitch. This is hit up the middle. Little pop to shallow right. Is it going to drop? No, the second baseman is able to get it. Altuve was off the bag. He makes the throw, but the throw was bad. It was wide. Altuve should have been doubled up right there. Man, that was close. Look at this. It was just an off-target throw. Barely. Altuve was just barely safe. Barely back on the bag. If it hadn't been for that wide throw, that would have been a double play right there. 2 outs. That brings up the Batman, Victor Caratini. They almost pick Altuve off at first base right after that. Man, they are really trying to get him out at first base, are they not? Yeah, I agree. I hope that Pena is not the only one. So far, it's not. Altuve does have the walk. That was good at bat. And now we have the Batman. That first pitch is outside, ball one. Beat these bums 18-0. Man, I can't think of another way to regain confidence. Not just the team, but in the fans. If they could destroy the Red Sox today. Here's a pitch. Way outside. Good take. 2-0, 2-0 is the count to Victor Caratini. The knuckle curve missing. 20 pitches now for Buehler. Hey, Lewis. Thanks for coming in. Another pitch way outside to Caratini. 3 straight balls. Yainer Diaz on deck. Caratini, this is a hitter's count. If he puts it down the middle, why don't you launch on it? Please do that. Here's the 3-0. He takes it. 94 miles an hour, low and inside. What is with the major league players? They're basically 99% automatic take on 3-0, and I don't get it. It depends on the situation, I think. Altuve stealing, but that's a ball 4. So we have runners on first and second for Yainer Diaz. I would have much rather have seen some pitches right down the middle to Caratini. But since Pena already has a line drive homer to the Crawford boxes, then it bodes well for Diaz. The pitching coach is out on the mound having a little meeting with the catcher and the pitcher. How about a 3-run homer? Let's get 4 runs in the first inning. Guys, can you imagine? When was the last time we had 4 runs in the first inning? Yainer, give 'em a shiner. The highlight of the day was tacos for dinner, old dog. I hear that. The highlight of my day yesterday was going to the restaurant here. There's a family restaurant. I've got 2 different family restaurants in 2 different directions. The one I went to yesterday, it's called Joyful. It's about $6, and I can have breakfast anytime. Here's the pitch. Yainer goes after the first pitch and puts it into left field. That's going to score Altuve. It's 2-0 Astros. Caratini stops at second base. Very first pitch, fastball, looked like right down the middle, and that's exactly what I was hoping that he would throw. If you start Diaz off with a fastball, look at that, no movement at all, right in the middle of the plate. Talk about a big mistake. These pitchers, they just had a meeting on the mound with the pitching coach. What did they talk about? I mean, it's fine. I'm fine with it. But why would you tell him throw a fastball down the middle to Diaz? Are you kidding me? That's exactly what he wants to hit. Altuve contributing. Diaz contributing. Ramon Urias, it's your turn, bro. Inside, ball 1. Man, this is looking good so far. Buehler on the mound for the Red Sox. 24 pitches. Oh, they said it might have been a hit by pitch. They're not going to challenge it. They think that it scraped his shirt. Urias said that it got his shirt or his elbow. No. Oh, it got his bat. He thought maybe it got his arm, but it got his bat. Where is the ball? Man, the camera crew there just lost their marbles. I didn't even know where the ball was going. That was fouled right into the dugout over on the Astros side, that it looks like. No, that was a Sox dugout. Either way, 1-1. That was strange. So they thought for a second there that that last pitch was off of his arm, but it was actually off his bat, and they called it a ball. Pretty amazing. Everybody got it wrong. Here's the 1-1 pitch. This is hit out to right field. It might drop. No, it doesn't. It's caught in foul territory. But the Astros put up 2 runs off 2 hits in the first inning. Jeremy Pena got it going with a home run. Yiner continued it. Now that's what I'm talking about right there. You know, what I was asking for in the Astros lineup was really very simple. I wasn't advocating for a ton of changes. I didn't think that Joe Espada had to do a tremendous amount of tweaking. I just felt like split up Christian Walker and Yiner Diaz. Don't put them back to back. It just doesn't make any sense. Both of them have similar outcomes when it comes to their success at the plate, and putting them back to back gives you like 2 unpredictable outcomes for a rally situation. But if you can break them up, put at least one different batter, preferably a lefty, in between them, even if it's just a mediocre lefty, it's a much, much better option than having 2 right-handers back-to-back of that caliber. It was a simple thing, but look what happened. You put Caratini in there, he got a walk. That put Altuve on second base. That pushed Altuve to second base. Very first pitch, Yiner got a hit, and we scored a run. You see? It's not difficult. And now it's 2-0 Astros going into the top of the second. Maybe, just maybe, Joe Espada is listening to Ghost Rose in his free time. So happy to see them separated. All right. Hunter Brown back on the mound. He's up to 10 pitches. Okay, I thought he ended with 9 pitches last inning. It just wasn't updated on my screen, but 10 pitches is still awesome. If he could do 10 pitches an inning, that would be freaking amazing, would it not? To shut down the Dirty Sox with 10 pitches an inning. First batter is Trevor Story. Here comes the toss to Mr. Story. 96 on the outside edge, strike 1. Let's go ahead and close the poll. The poll has about 37 votes. 38 votes. Actually, if we get 40 votes, I'll close it. We need 2 more votes on the poll. Here comes the pitch. 94, check swing, did he go? They say he did not. 1-1 is the count. In the live chat, the poll is Rome. Chandler Rome, a reporter. Wow, he went around. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. This is hit hard to right field and all the way down the line out to the wall. That's going to be a double for Story. Stand-up double. First hit given up by Hunter Brown, and they have a runner on second with no outs here in the top of the second. Chandler Rome basically said that the Astros, he literally used the word squandered. He said they squandered their division lead. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the word squander, you know that it means to foolishly and or recklessly waste something. I feel like this language is too harsh. So what is your opinion? Masataka Yoshida is at the plate. First pitch is outside for a ball, 1-0. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. We don't have 40 votes, but we're close. We'll go ahead and close it. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Story on second base. Hunter Brown misses on the inside lower corner with that knuckle curve. Okay, so 100% agree that Chandler Rome is right, that they squandered the lead foolishly and recklessly. I don't see how you guys can, how can 50% of you believe that? 26% only say they did their best. And in some areas, yes, but it's so funny because I feel like the last one is the best answer. Here's the pitch. High. 4-pitch walk to Yoshida. Not a single strike thrown by Hunter Brown. We have runners on first and second, and that is what we call a Colton Gordon old-timey jam. Romy Gonzalez at the plate. They just mentioned that Gonzalez has never faced Hunter Brown before, so this is a first-time meeting. He grounds it to shortstop. Altuve flips it to Pena. Pena to first for a double play. There we go. Very first pitch. Altuve with a nice little toss, looking like a pro. Looking like the pro he is. I like that flip by Altuve. Man, that was a quick transfer there. Yeah. Yeah. I like that fist pump by Altuve. Next batter is Wilyer Abreu. The first pitch is up and out for ball one. Story is on third base. 2 outs. 1 ball, no strikes. Here comes the next pitch from Brown. Up and outside. 97 mile per hour fastball. 2-0. Yeah, and in this software, I haven't taken the time to load up the like counter or the view counter, so I don't know exactly how many people are watching or liking, but another high fastball way up out of the zone. 3 straight balls. So Masataka Yoshida came to the plate, got 4 straight balls on a walk. Now Wilyer Abreu with 3 straight balls. Hunter Brown now up to 21 pitches. Here comes his 22nd of the game. That's in there. 98 miles an hour at the top of the zone. Throws in a burner. Death Before Dishonor is thinking about what I was thinking. Come on, man. Triple play. That's what I wanted earlier. Triple play. Here comes the 3-1. Abreu swings and fouls it off. 97 right in there. Full count. Sweet Richard, thanks for the update. Mariners in a rain delay. Are they still playing the Orioles? Or do they have a... Did they move into a different series? I see that old dog. They're talking about the blonde. 97 miles an hour above the zone. He holds up, doesn't go for it, and that is a second walk this inning for Hunter Brown. Runners on the corners. That would have been nice to get that final strike right there. Keep the pitch count to about an average of 12 per inning. Unfortunately, he walks Abreu. 24 pitches. 25th coming to Ceddanne Rafaela with runners on the corners. Here's the pitch. Low and outside, another ball. Yes, old dog, that's what I said earlier. I said Buehler gets no day off today. That's right. Buehler gets no day off against the Astros today. Hunter Brown lobs it over to first base. Not a real serious throw there. Resets the pitch clock. Yeah, Robert, playing with house money. Just got to hang in there. Here comes the next pitch. This is hit hard into left field, and it's going to drop in. That was actually not as hard as I thought it was. It was a little soft. But it doesn't matter. It lands in a blank spot. It's 2-1. Off the bat, looked pretty hard. Runner still on the corners with 2 outs. 2-1. Come on now, the Astros cannot give up their lead. Every time it seems like they get a lead, they either give it up or lose it right off the bat in the very next inning. That's a strike. 98 miles an hour to Connor Wong. 0-1 is the count. Come on, Brown. Yeah, thank you, Still Viper, for pointing the thing out about Correa. I'm sure that people are worried as soon as they see a player out. It's pretty sad that we gotta think that way. Normally, if we see a guy out of the lineup, it'd be like, oh, I see Correa's got the day off today. But now it's like, oh my God, is Correa okay? Or like Altuve, you know, oh my God, is Altuve okay? He's not in the lineup. 97 miles an hour. Just a little outside. 1-1 is the count. We just need one out to get out of this inning and hold this lead. 2 hits now for the Stinky Sox. 2-1 Astros. Here comes the pitch from Brown, the 1-1. Runner is going to second, but it's fouled off. He'll have to go back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Get your butt back to first, boy. You know what, Rock? You might have a point there. Leave Sanchez in the second spot, Correa at 4 or 5. I'd be perfectly fine with Correa batting between Walker and Diaz just to break it up a little bit, you know. That's high. Runner is going to second. They let him go. No throw. So Raffaele gets a free base. Now we have runners on second and third with a 2-2 count to Connor Wong. Come on, Brown. You got this. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. 92 on the outside edge, fouled away. Abel, I'm with you. I like to see defense, but love the offense. Amen to that. It reminds me of many years ago when the LSU Tigers were playing with Joe Burrow and got the championship. They went undefeated. Man, that offense was absolutely unbelievable. Swing and a miss. Hunter Brown with the upper fastball. That time it was in the top of the zone. He wisely, if he put it where he wanted it, and I think he did, he wisely put it in the top of the zone rather than above the zone. And that time, whether he swung or not, he was going to get that strikeout. That's the first strikeout for Christian Walker. Oh my gosh. Did I just say that? That's the first strikeout for Christian Walker? Man, talk about muscle memory. That's the first strikeout for Hunter Brown. Oh man, I can't believe that. You know that you strike out way too many times when somebody who's announcing the games just automatically says that you struck out and you're not even in the game at the time. You're not even at the plate. Holy cow, what was I thinking there? Too many bad memories of Walker striking out, I guess. But that's the end of the first and the top of the second. The Astros cling on to their lead, and they don't give it right back immediately. Thank goodness. 2 hits for the Sox, 2 hits for the Stros. 2-1. Cam Smith in the game today for the Astros, batting 6th. I'm sorry, batting 8th. This is what happens when I'm looking at one thing while reading another, or saying, I'm thinking and reading and trying to say different things at the same time, and it comes out all garbled. Cam Smith batting 8th. Jacob Melton on deck, and Jeremy Pena in the hole. Somebody get him out of the hole. Dig him out. Texas lost to, man, yeah, Texas is slipping. I didn't watch the video, but I saw that there was a Texas podcast. First pitch to Cam Smith comes in there pretty quickly for strike 1. He took it. Just took it. Took it like a champ. Here comes the next pitch from Bueller. That's low for ball 1. 1-1. But it might have been the Locked On Rangers podcast. I don't know. But they were basically saying in the title, it looked like they were saying, is it too late for the Rangers? So they're starting to worry about the season's over, you know. How do you like these hats? Yes, we can. Okay. I prefer the camshaft to the camera. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Cam Smith. The knuckle curve getting him to swing and miss. Cam, you are the 8th batter in this lineup, and you are fast. We need you to get on base. Mister, here's the pitch. Opposite field line drive and caught by the right fielder. Not a bad hit. Good attempt, young sir. But that is 1 down. Jacob Melton comes to the plate with his very 70s style mustache. First pitch to Melton is on the way. 94 right in the bottom of the zone for strike 1. 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 2nd. Astros looking to get that run back that they gave away. Here's the toss. Way outside. The knuckle curve. Drifting way out there for a 1-1 count. Cam the agent. That's right. Mr. Smith, I believe. Here's the question. Question for you, Mr. Smith. What are you doing? Jacob Melton grounds out to the second baseman, quietly getting the second out there. 2 up and 2 down. The Astros are back to the top of the batting order. Jeremy Pena, the power bat so far this game. Jeremy Pena has the kind of walk that the ladies like, I think. Right? A very, maybe kind of a saunter, a strut. First pitch is fouled off down the third baseline. 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Score 2 runs each inning. That'd be fine with me. Do it. 2 outs, nobody on. 36 pitches now for Buehler. Here is the 0-1. Fouled off behind the plate. 0-2. You said bite your tongue. I see that. Yeah, we need to score like 5 runs in 1 inning. We need that. Whoa, but that's not going to happen this inning. 93 low and inside. That was a tough pitch. Not a really good pitch to be swinging at, but it barely clipped the zone. A difficult take there for Pena. And that's strike 3. Out number 3. That's it for the Astros in the 2nd. So Buehler has a pretty decent 2nd inning where he got beat up a little bit in the 1st. Hunter Brown had his beating in the 2nd. But now we move into the top of the 3rd. Hunter Brown's pitch count is up to 32. He started off with just 10. 16 pitches in the 2nd. Let's see if he can roll that back to 10 or less. You guys are burning Jacob Melton. What's the Melton bat boy doing in the lineup? My name is Jacob Melton, and I'm here to repair your television. I remember, I think, do any of you ever, do any of you remember ever watching this old sketch comedy called Kids in the Hall? I think it was on, they showed it on MTV, maybe, a long time ago. I might be mistaken, but I think it was that show where they had, they did a joke where they had some, I don't know how to say it nicely, but basically the joke was that they were actors making certain type of questionable content. Here's the pitch. First pitch to Roman Anthony is just a little outside, 96 miles an hour, ball one. But the actor's name was Blade Rogers. That was his stage name, and he had the big mustache anyway. That it kind of looks like Jacob Melton. Reminds me of that. So maybe we can call him Blade Rogers. That's in there. 97 miles an hour, right in there. 1-1. But he was like an office worker or something, and his boss realized that he was Blade Rogers, and he came to him and asked him about it. All right, 84 miles an hour on the knuckle curve, and they say he went around. That's strike two, 1-2 on Roman Anthony. But, oh yeah, the office worker's name was Dan, and I remember the boss coming in, and he said, "Are you Blade Rogers, Dan? Are you Blade Rogers?" That was funny. Here's the 1-2. Ooh, just a little below the zone and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Daryl, the Red Sox would be frustrated, but man, that's a stressful game. I really don't want a 2-1 game. I want the Astros to score a lot more. 84 miles an hour on that outside edge. Strike 3. Second strikeout for Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown walking around the mound like he owns the place. He kind of does. Alex Bregman at the plate facing Hunter Brown. Knuckle curve in the dirt. 1-0. He grounded out to Altuve, his last bat up. 1 out, nobody on. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. This is hit into center field. Should be an easy play. Blade Rogers takes it. 2 away. 2 away. Casey remembers Kids in the Hall. MTV's The State. I think maybe my fan here. Whoops. There we go. I don't want it blowing on the microphone. Right in there, 84 miles an hour to Jaron Duran. Oh and 1 with 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice. The knuckle curve dropped below the zone there. Michael Ian Black. My favorite skit, his feet were made out of bologna sandwiches. Yeah, I remember all that nonsense. They don't really make TV like they used to. And, you know, that show and In Living Color, all those really funny sketch comedy shows. The knuckle curve misses outside in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brown up to 42 pitches. Let's see here. What is he going to toss? Is he going to go with the heater and try to blow it past him? Nope, another knuckle curve, this time in the dirt under the plate. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Let's go Stros, indeed, Elvis. Here's the pitch. Up and in, 97 miles an hour. He finally goes with the fastball, but he misses the mark. Full count. Elvis, I haven't had a chance to reply, but you and a couple of others, this goes for a few of you who've sent me either a... Here's a pitch, by the way, 3-2. Swing and a miss. How about that? Hunter Brown picks up another strikeout, this time at the expense of Jaron Duran. So Hunter Brown comes back up and shows what kind of pitching he's capable of. The Astros are up 2-1. That's 2 strikeouts now for Brown. We're going into the bottom of the third, 2-1 Stros. But what I was going to say is Elvis and some of you others who recently donated. This also goes for Let's see here. Anybody else in the chat that donated recently? Besides, oh, the Steel Viper obviously has already donated today, and that's awesome. But the other day, several of you donated through my buy me a coffee link, through PayPal. Actually, I had a couple of donations through PayPal, and I was shocked because I get the messages on my phone, notifications on my phone, that let me know whenever somebody sends me something. And buy me a coffee or PayPal or whatever, if it comes through YouTube, I only know basically when I log in or when I see it in the chat. Otherwise, it doesn't really send me the notifications. And I saw the other day I had several donations come in, and right now, like I've mentioned before, I haven't shared all of the details, but I'm going through a transition right now where some extra little income that I had coming in this month, it stops. So in the next few days, maybe tomorrow, I'll get that last amount of income, and then starting from next month, I don't get it anymore. The only income that I'm going to have that's steadily coming in is my partial disability, which comes in every 2 months. And it is quite low. It's only about $350 a month. And so when I saw all of those donations come in the other day, I was blown away. So I just wanted to say thank you very much to everybody for helping me to get through this and keep the community going. I really appreciate you. Speaking of appreciation, Jesus Sanchez is at the plate, takes the first pitch, the knuckle curve for strike one. You know, this is another guy that I hadn't been following prior to his stint with the Astros, and I didn't know too much about him, but he has really cheered me up. Not that I was down or anything, but he's given me more reasons to smile because he's been smiling up and in. The slider missing. See, right now, he was smiling at that. He gets the pitch up and in, and gets brushed back, and his response is to smile about it. I love that. I love the way he plays. That's in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike to Sanchez. I mean, look at him. He loves to play baseball. I really like his attitude. Here's the 2-1. Bounced up the middle. Going to be a quick play for the shortstop. He barely makes the play. Sanchez grounds out. It would have been nice to get him on for Altuve. But Altuve is also the type of batter that might be able to find a way to get on base. I wouldn't be surprised to see a surprise bunt right here if Bregman is playing too far back. But then again, Bregman knows Altuve, so maybe he'll be playing in a little bit. We'll see. Here's the pitch. Altuve goes after it and hits it in the air. Shortstop is underneath it. Looks like it's going to be a first pitch fly out, and it is. That's 2 away. No surprise bunt from Altuve. 2 up and 2 down. Walker Buehler having an inning off. Walker Buehler's inning off. Unless Christian Walker has something to say about it. Maybe Walker has a Jeremy Pena appointment. An appointment with the Crawford boxes. We'll see. Okay, you guys are showing, they're showing a nice conversation between a couple of different booths, but I really want to see the game. Here's the first pitch to Walker. 86 miles an hour on the slider, right in there, strike 1. Beavis's mom is from Texas. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead were both in Texas, right? Here's the pitch. In the dirt. 1-1 is the count. 2 outs with nobody on. Christian Walker at the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. Here comes the toss. 89 miles an hour up and out of the zone. I think that Buehler, his speed is a good speed for Walker to not have one of those nice smooth swings and get it out to the Crawford boxes. He does have a swing there, 93 right in the zone, but he fouls it off. 2-2 is the count. Casey Jones. Praise God, Brandon. The Astros have the best fans in the business. Heck yes! I think so. I think so. Here's the 2-2. Outside. Good at bat so far by Walker. Christian Walker, not Walker Bueller. Christian Walker Bueller. Here comes the full count pitch. Inside and low, ball 4. Walker walks Walker. No day off. No day off for Mr. Walker Bueller. That brings up Victor Caratini. We have a runner on first base with 2 outs. Caratini had a really nice at-bat his last time up, being very patient, got the walk. 93 on that outside edge. Check swing, strike 1. Jacob Patty Melton. Patty Melt. Yeah, Jacob Melton introduced himself. Just call me Patty. Patty? Yeah, Patty Melt. That's funny. I like that. Here's the pitch. 89 right in there. Come on now, Caratini. Now's your time. It's your time, Caratini. 0-2 with a runner on first. Let's put 3 runs on the... I'll say 2 more runs on the board, rather. Check swing. He doesn't go. 94 above the zone. 1-2. Abel Rodriguez says, I was driving and listening in. The question to the poll, I don't believe the Astros' intentions were to squander their position. Who does that? Yes, I agree. 77 miles an hour swing and a miss. Caratini goes down with the strikeout. Unfortunately, the Batman can't come through for the Stros. And we go into the 4th inning. That's all she wrote for the first 3 innings. We are 33.33333 infinitum % through this game. 2-1 Astros. If it continues like this, it'll be 6-3. But I want to see the Astros win this game by at least 12 runs. I want to see them destroy this game. It's the only way that we can restore a little confidence, especially in the fans. I don't think that the hitters need as much of a confidence restoration as the fans do. We need to see our team hitting the ball today. I mean, we had a good first game, but the second game was deflating. We need to see a little bit of a return to normalcy with this game. Have you guys noticed that Romy Gonzalez looks a little bit like Jacob Melton, our resident Blade Rogers? Just saying. But back to what Abel was saying about the poll. Who deliberately squanders their position? And that's the thing. That's why I'm actually surprised that 50% of everybody in the chat who answered the poll, that's basically about 20 people who answered the poll, believe that the Astros actually squandered their lead. But you really need to think about the definition of the word squander. To squander something means literally to foolishly and recklessly waste it. So that's like educating your child. Maybe you have a teenager, and you sit down with your child and you tell them that you're going to give them a little bit of money as a gift. And they speak with you honestly and sincerely about saving money. You know, spend a little bit on yourself, get a couple of little things, but save some money. Learn to handle your money properly. And they understand that. They understand it. And then they immediately go out and they blow it all on candy, you know, and stuff like that. First pitch from Brown to Trevor Story is in the top of the zone for strike 1. 96 miles an hour. Nice steamer. So that is squandering. Foolishly and recklessly. Just wasting it in the dirt. It's something that you do willfully. And that's what Chandler Rome said that the Astros did with their lead, is squandered it. Incorrect description of what the Astros did. Swing and a miss. That ball is outside and low. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Trevor Story. Hunter Brown trying to pick up another strikeout. Milton was a stapler guy from The Office Space. I didn't watch it, but I know that image. 2 balls and 2 strikes with that pitch in the dirt. Here comes the 2-2. Fouls it off. 98 miles an hour right in there. The count remains 2-2. Angel says, we better hit the ball. The Sox are waiting patiently for the Astros reliever. Yeah, they're like, if we can just get through these first 5 or 6 innings, they're hoping for that. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Good catch by Walker, who flips to Hunter Brown, who covers. Good teamwork there. The power of friendship comes through as Walker and Brown get the out at first base on the opposite field ground ball. 1 away. Yeah, Casey, I mean, either way you look at it, the Sox pitched well and they hit well yesterday. They had a combination going on, and the Astros just weren't able to handle it. Well, Crispy, that's extreme. They have done that before, score in the first inning and then not score anything else. They've done that, but that's not always the case. It feels that way sometimes. 82 miles an hour. Of course, the most important thing is to talk about the food that's in Dykene Park, so that's what they're doing right now. It looks delicious, but so unhealthy, all that fried food. This is hit down the first baseline. Another one from Walker to Brown. Look at that. Back-to-back ground balls to first base, and Hunter Brown having to work his butt off. H-Town chicken fries. Looks good, but that's one of those kind of things that I just cannot eat. I want to. 2 outs. Masataka Yusta is at the plate. Strike him out, boss, like a boss. That's right. Let's go indeed. Yes, that's right, Casey. You are absolutely right. Colton Gordon got old time jammed big time yesterday. That was great grandpa's old timey jam right there. First pitch to Gonzalez is outside. Yoshida was the last out. It didn't update on my screen. I think I read that wrong a moment ago. That's right up the middle. Blade Rogers takes it. I'm sorry, I mean Jacob Melton takes it. Isn't that funny? I just said a moment ago that Romy Gonzalez looks like Jacob Melton. Romy Gonzalez hits it up the middle, and guess who catches it? Jacob Melton. Oh, man. You got to find joy in even the simplest of things. Wilyer Abreu at the plate. First pitch, 88 miles an hour on the changeup. Strike 1. Runner at first with 2 outs. Hunter Brown couldn't quite get a perfect inning with the hit up the middle. That's 3 hits now for the Sox. Here's the toss. Nice. Did he go? They say he did not. I thought that was a strike for sure, but his check swing was held up. 1-1 is the count. I'm starting to think that I really need to have somebody moderating to give you guys and gals a lot more responses. I think you deserve a lot more responses than what I'm able to give during the game. This is fouled off. Romy tries to roam to second base, but he's going to have to go back after a little butt tap from Pena. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Wilyer Abreu. I just realized that I didn't finish pouring my coffee, my second cup this morning. There we go. After this, I'll have to heat up some more water. Hunter Brown steps back up on the rubber. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Let's get that out. He throws over to first base. Romy is back. One ball, 2 strikes. Here's the toss. It's grounded to third. Difficult play for Urias. No play. It's going to be an infield hit. He holds up the runner at second, but he's not able to make any throw to first base. Big gap over there on that side. The opposite field hit. I was kind of wondering why he didn't throw it there, but it looks like he might not have handled it completely cleany. Completely cleany. Cleany. I just said cleany. Runners on first and second. 4 hits now for the Red Sox. 2 outs. Hunter Brown and Diaz have a little meeting on the mound. Dippin' Dots. You know, I hadn't had Dippin' Dots in more than 10 years. And then when I came here to Hiroshima City, they have an underground area in the main shopping district. And there's a shop there that has Dippin' Dots. I was so happy to see that. I couldn't believe it. It's the only place in Japan I've seen Dippin' Dots. This is grounded foul down the third base side. Cedon Rafaela at the plate facing Hunter Brown. A double screwdriver. Yeah, felt bad for Gordon yesterday. Here comes the pitch. The 0-1. That's a line drive to Pena. Gets it on one hop. Fires it over to first base for out number 3. Nice hard hit, but right at Pena. And Pena puts the leather on it. Brown finally gets out of the inning. 2 quick outs and then 2 hits. Finally gets the third out. Manages to muscle through it. He is up to about 60 pitches. What's the total? 59 pitches for Hunter Brown and 32 strikes. So he's basically at 50% on the strikes. Not a good total. He should be like at 70%. He's a little down on his strikes right now. He has a couple of walks. How many walks does he have? Let's see. Yeah, just 2 walks, but still that's a pretty good bit for Brown in 4 innings of work. 3 strikeouts, very modest. But like I said, I would rather see Brown get the ground outs and the fly outs and the double plays. But that's the same with any pitcher. I mean, strikeouts are cool. And they are crowd pleasers to see guys actually swing and miss the ball. But typically, to get a lot of strikeouts, unless it just happens to be your day and you're in a zone, typically you'll have to throw a lot of pitches. And I would much rather see a guy go 7 or 8 innings and just throw 75 or 80 pitches, getting lots of ground outs, keeping the ball in the park. Lots of easily playable balls. Kind of like Jason Alexander's style, his last outing, where he wasn't owning anybody. He wasn't striking out a bunch of guys. Kept the ball in the park. Was just making them put it in play, but very playable. Yainer Diaz at the plate takes that first pitch for ball 1. Here comes the next pitch. The slider in the dirt. He goes around. I'm telling you, if I were a pitcher, I wouldn't throw anything but sliders and sweepers to Diaz right now. That's not very hot. That's just barely warm. Tapper to third might be trouble for Bregman. He makes the throw over there, and they call him out. Man. Diaz booked it down the line, but with the scoop at first base, it looks like he got him. That was close. Good play by Bregman, but I'm not surprised. Pretty solid on defense over there. Milton here's a who. Ramon Urias at the plate takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. 1-0. Mark, thank you very much. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 91 right above the zone. 1-1 is the count. Mark, thanks for pointing that out. I haven't mentioned that, but if you guys have not liked the live stream, please do so now. It really helps the channel get exposed to more Astros fans. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. 88 miles an hour. 2 pitches at the top of the zone. 2 swings and 2 misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Urias. 1 out, nobody on. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Come on, man. Let's do it. Check swing on the outside. Did he go? They say he did not. 2-2 is the count. Mark asks if there's any way to increase the text size of the chat. Love the new chat layout, except for that. I watch on my TV but can't read. Oh, you can't read it. I'll take a look at it. This is tap to the second baseman. Easy throw over to first base for out number 2. Ground out for Urias, and that brings up Cam Smith with 2 outs. Buehler is up to 60 pitches, 61. Hunter skid marks Brown. Okay. I will see if I can adjust that chat size. Let's see. I think I know what I can do. I have an idea. An idea. Next pitch to Pena on the way. I'm sorry. Why did I say Pena? Once again, I'm trying to adjust the chat and stuff on here, and I'm saying stuff that doesn't even make any sense. Cam Smith is at the plate, takes the first or the second pitch for a ball. That's 1-1. That's outside. 2-1. This is what happens when I try to mess around with my UI and my software and do the game at the same time. It makes no sense, right? Here comes the 2-1 pitch with 2 outs to Cam Smith. Outside, 3-1. Give me 1 second. I'll mess with it once this inning is over. Maybe I can fix it. It's too distracting to do that at the same time while doing the play-by-play. Here's the pitch. Right in there, strike 2. He thought he was going to get a walk, but you can't get a walk when the ball is right in the middle of the plate. 3-2 with 2 outs. Nobody on. Come on, Smith. Mr. Smith. Hit the ball, Mr. Smith. He fouls it off. He does hit it, kind of. No, you don't understand, Mr. Smith. You see, you're in trouble because you haven't hit a home run in a while. You must hit a homer. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the toss. This is grounded up the middle, but to the shortstop, who grabs it and fires over to first. Another ground out, and that's it. All right, let's see here. That is the end of the fourth. Astros up 2-1. 4 hits for the Sox, 2 for the Stros. We'll go to the top of the fifth. Hunter Brown will be back up on the mound in just a moment. Let's see here. Chat. Live chat properties. I have an idea. One second, let me try this. I have an idea that just might work. Let's see. Let's try this width. Let's try 200. Okay, I see. Can't do that. We'll do 250. It's going to take me just a moment to get this worked out, I think. Okay, it's going to have to be a little wider than that. Let's try 280. Maybe that's enough. We'll see. First pitch from Brown to Connor Wong is hit in the air to Pena, who puts it away for out number 1. That's an easy first out. 1 away. Roman Anthony is due up in just a moment. They're still talking about the food. A waffle and fries. Some type of steak, fries, and onions. Have you guys eaten at Dykeen Park? What's the food like? What are the prices like? 95 inside. The pitch to Roman Anthony is ball. 1-0. Next pitch. Ooh, low and outside, but in there for strike 1. 1-1. How about this size? Take a look at this size on the screen and tell me what you think. Not the small size. Hang on a second. I'll put it on both screens. There are 2 different scenes on the screen. Here's the pitch. 97, low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Okay, let's copy that. Copy. And then here, low below the zone, 3-1 is the count. Where is the chat? There it is. Delete. Yes, I want to remove that. Paste. Okay, there we go. What do you think of that? Fouled off. The count is 3-2. The changeup getting him to go. Okay, basically I kept what I tried to do as best I could is get the chat, keep the chat in the same space but make it a little larger. Is that okay right now? Did it get a little better? Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, low and outside. A full count strikeout for Hunter Brown. All right, out number 2, 4th strikeout for Brown. I don't have my Tommy Like Swingy meme on here right now, but I'll try to add that later so I have it for the next game. I might be able to edit this game later on when I get to it. Well, I'm going to take a break from doing the UI stuff for the moment. Here comes the first pitch to Alex Bregman. That's in there for a strike, 97-mile-per-hour sinker. No problem, guys. I'm glad I could help. Here comes the next pitch. Low and inside. Well, Mr. Page, I see what you were talking about with doing the vote, but I think if people are having trouble reading it, and actually a large percentage of my subscribers do use their televisions, and if they're having trouble reading it, then I want to fix that. Bregman hits it high into center field. Oh, he came close to getting that center field home run. Do you remember yesterday I pointed out that Alex Bregman had a home run to left field in the first game, and in the second game he had a home run to right field, and I said, is he going to get a home run to center field in this game? He came close. He got it out there close to the warning track. He was trying. I see what you're doing there, Alex Bregman. But that's out number 3. The Astros are hanging on to their 2-1 lead so far, courtesy of Hunter Brown. 4 hits to 2 hits. The Red Sox have twice as many hits, but unlike yesterday, their run production is less efficient than the Astros. 2-1. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Blade Rogers, Jacob Melton coming up to the plate in just a moment, followed by Jeremy Pena and Jesus Sanchez. I actually have a screen here right in front of me for the game and for the live chat. But the live chat that I'm using, this is a 42-inch screen, by the way. It's a literal TV, and I'm using that for my main screen to watch and see the live chat. And I have a couple of other tabs that I can click on and see some different game information and things like that. But the live chat that I'm using is the YouTube live chat. The reason I have it open is because I can type into it, you see. I don't watch the live chat that you guys are seeing on the screen. The live chat on YouTube is the one I pay attention to. The reason for that is because, like I said, that's the one that's the one I can actually interact with. First pitch to Melton is on the way, and he hits it out to center field pretty deep. He's going back, and he barely makes the catch. Duran barely makes that catch. Melton almost drives it over his head. Man, are you Blade Rogers, Jacob? Jeremy Pena comes to the plate. Now there's 69 pitches from Walker Buehler. No comment. Pena at the plate. That last pitch to Melton was the 69th pitch. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? You can't write this stuff. You can't make it up. First pitch to Pena is outside. Ball 1. Robert, our Jacob Melton is our Blade Rogers. That's his screen name. This is a grounder to shortstop. A backhand and a low throw, but picked up by the first baseman. Pena will be barely thrown out by Story, thanks to his first baseman saving that throw. 2 away really quickly, 2 up and 2 down. I want to see a Sanchez homer. He has yet to get a really powerful hit on the ball today. He has not made really strong, solid contact. First pitch is on the way. He breaks his bat on the very first pitch. Right after I mentioned that. Solid contact. He made solid contact there and destroyed his bat. His equipment let him down. Man, what in the world is going on today? My words seem to be floating directly into the game. Okay, so if my words are getting into the game, then I will say this. In the bottom of the sixth, the Astros will score more runs. No. I'm going to change it. The Astros are going to get more hits in the sixth inning of this game than they've gotten in any inning this entire season. They're going to get, not give up, they're going to get more hits. The Astros hitters are going to get more hits in the sixth inning of this game than they've gotten in any inning in any game this season. I'm being very clear. For those of you who know fantasy, have you ever heard of a wish spell? I remember when I was in high school, we used to play the book text version of Dungeons and Dragons. That was back when a ton of parents thought that Dungeons and Dragons was of the devil, It's of the devil. But one of the most powerful spells in the game was called a wish spell. But you had to be very careful how you used it. You couldn't abuse it. And you had to be careful how you worded it, because it could be twisted and used against you. So, for example, if you said, I want to be stronger than anybody, and you make that spell, you could turn into an elephant, right? You'd be stronger than anybody, but you wouldn't be a human anymore. That kind of thing. So I feel like that's how I have to word my wishes about this game right now. Carefully. 84 miles an hour below the zone. Jaron Duran at the plate. Calm down, Nostradamus. Yeah, that's right. Nostradamus. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. In the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. I am a wizard. Have you seen that meme? I'm a wizard. No, it says, are you a wizard? That used to be one of my favorite memes. Are you a wizard? I'd send that to my friends when they'd say something that was amazing. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Ooh, a little low again. 3 balls and no strikes. 3 straight balls. Hunter Brown is like, okay, well, maybe I won't throw that one again. Here comes the 3-0 to Duran. 4 straight pitches below the zone. The fastball, the slider, the sinker. Brown threw several different pitches, and they all had the same result, below the zone. Walks Duran, the first batter, on 4 straight pitches. This is the 6th inning. This is the main one that Hunter Brown needs to get through. He's done good so far, but now it's time to lock it in. How about a double play? Trevor Story at the plate. Little toss over to first base. Daryl, glad there's no corks in those bats, would be screwed. Why so many broken bats? They're calling a balk on Hunter Brown, and now he's kind of arguing with the umpire. Hunter Brown's arguing with it. Of course, we know what it's like to argue with an umpire. You never win. Let's see what they call here. Let's see the replay, rather. Yeah. Okay, I see what it was. Yeah, the batter wasn't ready. Hunter Brown came up and went to put his hand in the glove, but the batter wasn't in the box and ready to go. So he pulled his hand back out, and that's when he called a balk. Astros announcers are saying that could have been a timer violation on the hitter. But you know what it's like to argue with an umpire. 99.999% of the time, it does no good. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a miss. 96 miles an hour to Trevor Story. 0-1 is the count. Runner on second, no outs. You're a wizard, Harry. Yes, that's right, Brendan. Here's the pitch. This is hit high in the air to right field. Cam Smith comes in, gets underneath it, puts it away. Duran scampers back to second base, one away. That's a big out right there. Trevor Story, not one you want to play around with. Masataka Yoshida comes to the plate. Casey Jones. There we go, back to the Blade Rogers stuff again. More references to the questionable content. Here's the pitch. Right side, handled by Walker, who flips to Brown for a repeat of the teamwork ground out. Duran goes to third base, but that's 2 outs as Yoshida grounds out. Speaking of Blade Rogers, the Red Sox resident Jacob Melton comes to the plate. Romy Gonzalez. Is that... Oh, he actually shaved, though. His picture looks like Jacob Melton, but I just remembered or just realized that he shaved. I'm looking at his picture on the screen, but he's clean shaven. I guess he decided to leave the industry, if you know what I mean. 1-0 is the count to Gonzalez. Runner on third with 2 away. Here comes the pitch. 1-0. Right in there, 96 miles an hour. They're out there yelling about something. They're saying that he balked. Now the Red Sox are yelling that he balked. So now the Red Sox are arguing because they said that he threw out of the windup and then threw out of the stretch, and they're wanting to know why that's not a balk. Espada's not going out there. I think he should be out there defending it. Cora's trying really hard to get a balk and get a run here. Man, he's really, really arguing the point here. This is the first pitch. It's a windup, right? Up and in. And then you can see the next pitch, he's in the stretch. And they're pointing at that. But they let him make the pitch. Okay, so they've got an argument, but the problem is they let him make the pitch. They can't go back and say, okay, it's a balk. They've already let the pitch go. They can't retroactively call a balk there. The count is 1-1. Here comes the pitch from Brown. That's in there. 95-mile-an-hour sinker to Mr. Romy. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, I do feel like sometimes Espada doesn't... I feel like he gives up too easy, but some of the other coaches are just big babies. 98, up and outside. There's got to be a happy medium. You know, I think you would all agree. Your coach needs to argue the point at some times. At some points, he really should argue. At other points, he should just keep his mouth shut and stay in the dugout. And other times, maybe he can come a little unglued. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Walker scoops it up, throws it to Brown again. That's the 4th time this game. Walker to Brown for the ground out twice this inning. Cora over there, man. Man, I can't believe it. Can't believe it. That should have been another balk. Wah, wah, wah. Cry, cry, cry. Hunter Brown gets through it. 6 innings for Hunter Brown, 1 run. That's about as good as we can ask for right there. Brown up to 83 pitches. Now, Brown, if he's feeling it, he can come back out for the 7th. I think if he's feeling okay, he can do 7 innings. He's only at 83 pitches. If he's got 100 in him, or even 95, he might can come back out and do the 7th. It would be nice if he could extend and save our bullpen, but we will see. We will see. Going into the bottom of the 6th, Astros up 2-1. In Japanese, we would say giri giri. It just means just barely. To succeed in something by the skin of your teeth, basically, is what it means. If you wanted to translate it into a proper English expression, you could say by the skin of your teeth. Just barely. 2 hits for the Astros, 4 for the Red Sox. No errors today so far. Good defense all around. Casey says Quasimodo predicted all that. Quasimodo. Quasimodo. Yeah, sometimes the umps do. You know, who knows who's in on the betting and who's not nowadays. Betting ruins baseball, guys. If you bet on baseball and sports, I would just say that these should be kept separate. Absolutely. If people want to bet secretly or under the table or illegally, that's the only way to bet, in my opinion. I don't think that it should be legalized. And I think that it should be heavily regulated and scrutinized. Altuve's at the plate, fouls off, or swings and misses the first pitch, rather. Takes that next pitch outside. Walker Buehler has no day off so far. Still in the game. 74 pitches, 1-1 count to Altuve. Altuve fouls it down the third baseline. 1-2 is the count. Yeah, sometime Ocean, that's right. They score, and then Altuve lines out to right field. Hit it just a little too hard. Wasn't able to drop it in there, and that's out number 1. But Local Ocean says that the Astros often score in the first and just put their bats up like their work is done. Well, you said they squandered their lead? You're talking about the division lead? I completely disagree. Once again, look at the word squander. Really, seriously, think about the word squander. You're literally saying that they get a couple of runs in the first inning and then put their bats away. You say it like they do that on purpose. Or they say, "Well, I've done my job. We got a couple of runs on the board." That's ridiculous. Of course they don't do that. 89 miles an hour. I'm sorry, but that's just ridiculous. Anybody who thinks that the Astros get a 1 or 2 runs early in the game and then just become complacent for the rest of the game with their bats on purpose or foolishly, that couldn't be further from the truth. 2 balls and 1 strike to Christian Walker. He lets the Swiffer go. That's why I'm saying you really need to choose your words carefully, and Chandler Rome used the wrong word when he used the word squander. 3 balls and 1 strike. Take a look at the Yankees. The Yankees have a lot of ability to hit the ball, but their fundamentals are pretty weak. Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. 92 miles an hour at the top of the zone. Full count. They started off really on fire. But if anybody has squandered a lead, it is the Yankees. Because they are so focused on playing and doing one particular style. They've foolishly wasted Oh, strike 3. Swing and a miss. Walker gets a strikeout. Walker's first strikeout of the game. Out number 2 here in the 6th. Victor Caratini coming to the plate in just a moment. But if your team doesn't focus heavily on their fundamentals, that's foolish. That's foolish. And that could be considered squandering your lead. High and outside to Caratini, ball 1. But the Astros have been riddled with injuries and challenges over and over and over again. And every time we get somebody back, somebody leaves, or 2 more guys are out. Below the zone, 2-0 to Caratini. Come on, Batman. Even a solo homer right here would be a big deal. Get that extra insurance run. 93 miles an hour. Outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Might be another walk. But once again, Caratini had that 3-0 count earlier, and I was hoping he would rip one out if he got a pitch right down the middle, and he took it for a strike. Let's see if he does something different here. Well, that wasn't in the zone, so that was a good take. Ball 4. Caratini's on. Now, here is an opportunity for Diaz with 2 outs. Buehler, his first outing against, or first face-off against Diaz, he decided to go fastball right in there, and Diaz punished it. Diaz goes after this one. He does throw the sweeper. That was the better pitch to be thrown to Diaz, but he was able to actually get the bat on it. I think Diaz was hoping for a pitch down the middle again. 0-1 is the count. Throw him a fastball right down the middle. Here's the pitch. Yes, he does! He does! He throws him the fastball right down the middle! I swear! I swear. Yeah, that's right. You don't throw the fastball down the middle to Yainer Diaz, man. You throw the Swiffer. You throw the slider or the Swiffer. Man, these pitchers, they just don't learn. Thank you. Thank you for the gift. It is 4-1 Astros with a 2-run shot from Yainer Diaz. Look at that, right down the middle. Oh, that was actually a Swiffer. It just didn't have much movement on it. Yeah, Walker Buehler's day off canceled. Walker Buehler threw a Swiffer, but it had almost no movement on it, and it was punished by Diaz. I have not seen a sweeper that had such little movement on it. Man, how beautiful that was. 0-1 is the count to Ramon Urias. Whew. Man, that gave me a head rush. How great is that? Most homers in Astros catcher history. He's only 2 behind Maldonado. Hey, how about this? Urias goes through the left side. Bregman dives on the ground and gets all dirty but can't come up with it. Urias is on first base with a hit. And now Cam Smith comes to the plate with 2 outs. Look at this. That Swiffer was right in the middle of the plate. I thought for sure it was like a fastball because there was no movement, almost no movement on it, and Diaz just crushed it. 4 hits for the Astros, 4-1. Yainer Diaz, I love you, sir. Thank you. 56 home runs now for the Astros, only 2 behind Maldonado. If Yainer Diaz stays with the Astros for a few years, I'm pretty sure he will be number 1 all-time in Astros catchers' home runs. Absolutely 100%. Bullpen is now moving for the Red Sox. It's obvious that Buehler is losing some of his movement on the ball. That brings up Cam Smith. First pitch. Right in there, 85 miles an hour on the slider. Man, you should have launched on that. 85 mile per hour slider. Pardon me. Right in the middle of the zone. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Too far inside, 1-1. Yeah, that was a great time for a shiner. Yiner gave them the shiner at the right time with that liner out to left field. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Cam. Crank it up, Cam. He tries, but he fouls it off. Way off into the crowd on the right side. 1-2. Yes, thank God indeed, old dog. Thank God indeed. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, fouled off. Harmlessly behind the plate. The count remains 1-2. Yeah, you're right. Bueller is up to 95 pitches, old dog. That is correct. Here comes the next pitch. Check swing to the right side and caught by the first baseman. Cam Smith had a little check swing there and kind of lined it over to the right side, and it was caught by the first baseman for out number 3. But the Astros come up with not a record amount of hits in that inning. They got 2, but it turned into 2 runs. So that's all that matters. 4-1. Now we have a few insurance runs. My guess is that Hunter Brown will be back out on the mound for the 7th. Yeah, that's true, Mark. That's true. Maybe if I give you the lotto numbers, you'll win about $10. If I give you the Powerball numbers, you'll win $10. So you won't lose, but you won't win the whole lotto. You'll just win a little bit, maybe just enough to get yourself some lunch or something like that. But that's still a win, right? But I don't know, 2 runs and 2 hits, maybe that's more like winning $30. If you played the Powerball and you win $30, maybe it's something like that. That's still a win. Still good. Yeah, his total pitches right now are 96. But they were around 90 whenever Diaz, maybe a little more than that, or a little less. Yeah, he was in the 80s, I think, whenever Diaz hit his homer, because after that, Urias came up and got a hit, and then he pitched a few to Cam before he lined out. So he was in the 80s, I think, before he made that last, whenever he made that pitch to Diaz. All right, Hunter Brown back on the mound. He's facing Wilyer Abreu, 95 in the top of the zone, strike 1. It feels nice to see Hunter Brown on the mound in the 7th inning, doesn't it? And be up by 3 runs. Normalcy? Are we back to normalcy? Here it comes the 0-1. Line drive up the middle, and that's a single, leadoff single after a 0-1 count. Wilyer Abreu on base with Ceddanne Rafaela. Bennett Sousa is already warming up in the bullpen, actually. They already had him up from the start, so he's getting ready to go. Hopefully he's nice and loose and on his game. Here's the first pitch to Rafaela. 96 just a little outside. That was not a bad pitch. Ball 1. Rafaela, the 8th batter. It would be nice to get this shut down before the top of the lineup. Here comes a pitch. Ooh, up and in. Holds up. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, he's right there, old dog. He's right there, but hopefully he can get through this. I don't want to see him have to come out. Here's a pitch. Up and in. 3 balls and no strikes. He gets a walk here. They might be going ahead and bringing in Sousa. A double play here would be ideal. He's had several ground balls this game, so maybe he gets another one. Here's the toss right in there, 93 miles an hour, 3-1. So he gets the customary strike on the 3-0 pitch. Loosey goosey, full of juicy. Nani? Here comes a 3-1 pitch to Rafaela. Brown gets that one in there. He's taking all the way. 94 miles an hour on the sinker. Full count. Rafaela was gunning for a walk. Let's see if he's still going to be holding his bat. Here's the full count pitch. He swings at that one. Could be a double play. Pena to Tuve. Tuve to Walker. And boom, they got him. There we go. My predictions are back to normal. Maybe that lotto ticket will pay off after all. There's the double play. 2 away. Nobody on for Connor Wong. Pena to Tuve. Barely got there in time. Astros looking hot on their D. First pitch right in there. 97 miles an hour to Connor Wong. Up and in. Strike 1. Wong batting 168 for the season. A strikeout and a pop out today. Let's mow him down, Mr. Brown. Mow him down, Brown. There we go. Oh, I thought that was going to be playable by Pena. Just past his glove. That's another hit. So the top of the batting order will get to the plate. Roman Anthony. Joe Espada is coming out. Yeah, that's going to be it. They're going to go ahead and bring in Sousa. Hunter Brown is not going to be able to finish the 7th. They're not going to let him get to the top of the batting order. 6 2/3. Hunter Brown is disappointed. Can't blame him. Bennett Sousa will be on the mound in just a moment. Let's take a look at Hunter Brown's final stats for the game. As he walks off the field, he looks at the crowd. The crowd gives him a standing ovation. Let's take a quick look at his stats and see how he did this game. 6.2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, no home runs. 2.45 ERA overall. That's his overall ERA. Hunter Brown had 93 pitches. 53 of those were strikes. Not stellar in his strike count, but he did raise that up just a little bit. Before, he was almost exactly 50%, but this is slightly higher than that. So he did get a little better as the game went along. But he kept it in the park. He mostly kept it on the ground. No big hits. Didn't give up too much to the Red Sox. Today was a great game for Brown. Came just 1 out shy. Just 1 out shy of completing 7 innings. Great game from Brown. If we had a World Series game like this or a playoff game against a team like the Red Sox, and this is the result after 6 2/3, I'm happy. I'm very, very happy with that. If you compare him to Buehler, huge difference, right? Buehler with 6 complete innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. Two home runs. By the way, boom. Cora was ejected from the ball game. He went back out there to argue with the umpire later on, and he got tired of it. So he ejected him. Cora's out of the game. He just couldn't stop whining, and the umpire just couldn't take it anymore. Sousa is on the mound, 86 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone on the slider, strike one. He's got a runner on first, inherited from Hunter Brown. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Adios. Swing and a miss. Another slider, 86, but that one below the zone. Good toss. 0-2 is the count. Anthony calls a timeout. Casey says, if I hit the lottery or the Powerball, whatever, I'm on the next plane to Hiroshima. We're going to party like rock stars in Houston for months. Hey, look at that. Another slider. 3 straight pitches. 3 strikes. Bennett Sousa gets the job done in just 3 pitches. Strike, strike, strike. And it is 7th inning stretch time. Take me out to the ye old ball game. Good job. Good job there, Mr. Bennett Sousa. You came in and shut her down. We go into the bottom of the 7th. The Astros up 4-1. Jacob Melton will be up to bat in just a moment, followed by Jeremy Pena and Jesus Sanchez. Eric, no problem. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. This is definitely our game for the taking. You're right, old dog. You're right about that. I'll tell you what, if I hit the lottery, and I do actually have a lottery ticket. The big lottery here in Japan, it comes around every Friday, so it'll be tomorrow night. And if I hit that one, my thing is I want to go to a health resort. I'm not even thinking partying. I'm just thinking I want to go to a health resort and just relax and focus on continuing to recover my health and have people take care of me. That's my desire. That's my heart's desire. It might sound a little lame, but I just want a bunch of people around me taking care of me and showing me some love. That's what I want. Just for once in my life, I want to be surrounded by a bunch of people who are just showing nothing but concern and care, taking care of me every day until I'm better. Sometimes you just need people to take care of you until you can be 100% again. And I'm definitely not 100% right now. My health is just not there yet. The extreme anemia keeps me pretty inactive. But I'm lucky that I can do this. It doesn't require too much energy. And mentally and emotionally I'm able to handle it. Steven Matz is on the mound for the Red Sox. He's facing Chas McCormick. The Tasmanian Devil is batting for Melton. Blade is out and Chaz is in. Steven Matz. Here's the next pitch. McCormick hits that to Bregman. Bregman fires over to first base. A little low, but it gets there. Out number 1. Jeremy Pena due up in just a moment. But I'll tell you what, I will say this. You were talking about partying, Casey. I really desire to be back 100% with my health so that I can occasionally do stuff like that. I'm not a big party guy, but it would be nice. It would be really nice to be able to go out and have some fun sometimes. Especially on holidays. First pitch to Pena is out of the zone for ball 1. He had a home run in the first inning. Hasn't done anything his last couple of at-bats. Holy cow! That ball was low and inside, at least 2 or 3 inches out of the zone and called a strike. 1-1 is the count. 80-mile-per-hour curveball, swing and a miss, 1-2. Man. But, you know, I really do love enjoying myself and having a lot of great food and drinks on holidays, you know. I love some mulled cider, some hot mulled cider on Christmas. Go to the German market. Fouled off, 1-2. Have you guys ever been to the German Christmas market anywhere? They have those here in Japan. Almost every, I think every major city in Japan has those every year, the Christmas markets. They're wonderful. This is hit out to right field. The little soft fly ball should be taken care of, and it is. Wilyer Abreu puts it away. Pena flies out for out number 2. And Jesus Sanchez, who I'm still waiting to get the, I'm waiting on to get the big hit today, comes to the plate. They're showing the World Series Game 5, where the 2-run shot in the 7th inning put the Astros up 11-8 by Carlos Correa. Mauricio Dubon is in the game for Sanchez. We got the lefty on the mound, so he decided to go with Dubon. It's a wise move, since Sanchez doesn't hit well against the lefties. That's grounded to the shortstop. Dubon will ground out for the 3rd out. 3 up and 3 down. Steven Matz does his job for the Red Sox in the 7th inning. We're done with 7 innings of ball. We go to the top of the 8th. The Astros up 4-1. 6 hits for the Sox and only 4 hits for the Astros. Hit to run efficiency in the Astros' favor. My guess is that Bennett Sousa will still be on the mound for the Astros. Let's see here. Let me see if I can change the picture. There we go. I forgot to do that earlier. Commercial break right now. Yeah, you're right. It is. Well, Sousa, obviously Sousa was already in the game, but since he only pitched to 1 batter, he had 3 pitches. I would guess that they're going to bring him in again in the 8th. I just forgot to change the picture on the screen. Coca-Cola invented Christmas and Santa Claus. Well, you know, here in Japan, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there's this thing about Christmas chicken every year and Christmas cake, but it's fried chicken. Christmas chicken is typically fried chicken. And guess who started that? I'll give you one guess. Maybe you know this trivia. Who started the idea of Christmas chicken in Japan? It should be an easy guess. Old dog says, get some more hot water. You sound like you're Chinese. That sounds like Chinese. If you say, I have a cold, drink more hot water. Oh, my shoulder is hurting. Drink some more hot water. Oh, my stomach is upset. Drink some hot water. That's like their solution for everything. Drink some hot water. Bregman is at the plate facing Sousa. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch. Another slider. That's actually 4 straight sliders from Bennett Sousa and 4 straight strikes. Oh, and 1 is the count. Here comes the toss to Bregman. Woo, another slider. Swing and a miss. Same result. 5 straight sliders and 5 straight strikes. If he gets another one, that's going to be 6 strikes and 2 outs all in a row. Man, Sousa looking good so far. How nice would it be to have a pitcher like this to pitch 2 or 3 solid innings? Ground ball to third. Urias throws it over to first. The third baseman, Bregman, is thrown out by the third baseman, or at least the guy playing third today. 1 down. Jaron Duran is due up. Old dog says go to Bali. Bali, well, you know, it depends. Drambam says those exist. That's my dream. They do, but isn't it always a money issue? 82 up and in. Could have been a strike, but called a ball. That's the first ball thrown. Duran at the plate with the 1-0 count. And 1 out, nobody on. 92 right in there, the sinker. 1-1 is the count. Brian Abreu warming up in the bullpen now. Looks like he's going to be our 9th inning guy. Makes sense. Here's the pitch. And the dirt, swing and a miss. 1-2. You know, if mankind really cared about mankind, or if the... Let me rephrase that. If mankind's leaders really cared about mankind, because I believe that mankind does care about mankind. If you leave people alone, studies have shown that they tend to get better and better and treat each other better and better. That's true. If you don't know that, look it up. So why does it seem like 2 balls and 2 strikes with that delivery, low and outside? 1 out, Duran at the plate with the 2-2 count. You might ask, why do we continually have problems in wars and stuff? Well, that's easy. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Low and inside, full count. It's because of the leadership. They deliberately create divisions and stir things up. Because if they don't, then things will continually get better and better. This is grounded down the first base side. Count remains 3-2. So mankind is naturally inclined to become better and better, make things more and more fair for everybody. So it has to be artificially, I don't want to use the word fixed, but that's basically what it is. It's fixing, like match fixing, except it's life fixing. Swing and a miss. The slider. Nice pitch. Lots of movement. Duran goes after it. Strike 3. Look at that. Boom, baby. Another slider. Look at that spin. Woof. 2 outs. Maybe the Red Sox don't have any clue as to how to cheat against this pitcher. Here comes the 2-out pitch to Trevor Story, a little high, ball 1. But anyway, yeah, because of the way society is set up, it takes a lot of money to do that kind of thing. And just to improve your health, it shouldn't take that much money. 83, below the zone. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs, nobody on. If people are sick, we should just take care of them. It's that simple. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fouled off. 1-2. A new geisha. Yep. Actually, I have a huge house here. Plenty of room, and there's always stuff to do. Plenty of cleaning, plenty of renovations, plenty of space. Anybody who comes to Hiroshima, you're welcome to come by and visit. And I'd be more than happy to show you around. We can even go to a Hiroshima Carp baseball game. I've done it before. Lots of people come visit. Here comes the next pitch. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Diaz picks it up and tags him out. Sousa with another strikeout there. How about that? 4 straight outs by Sousa. We go into the bottom of the 8th. The Astros up by 3. Jose Altuve is due up, followed by Christian Walker and Victor Caratini. Sousa getting it done. This is a really good result considering the difficult news that we just had about Josh Hader. Hader's likely going to be out for a minimal of 3 weeks to a month, it seems, because the minimal amount of time that you really need off if you have a mild strain in your shoulder is about 2 weeks. And since they are seeking a second opinion, it's not believable that it's such a mild thing, right? So we can expect Hader to either be out for a month or for the rest of the season. A major strain or tear can be a surgery requiring thing, and that, of course, is a season ender. I think best case scenario that we're looking at right now is for Hader to, let's see, for Hader to be back in the beginning of October. If he's back this year, that's the best case scenario in my opinion. Remember, this is just my opinion. Believe it or not, I'm not a doctor. And I know that it's going to be so difficult for everybody to believe that, but I am actually not a doctor. And I will say this though, Casey, about the geisha, the Maiko and the geisha, I love the look. I think it's very beautiful. But they get harassed in Kyoto. It's a very big issue here about tourists harassing those women, constantly wanting to take pictures and follow them around. Greg Weisert is in the game now for the Red Sox. Jose Altuve swings that first pitch. Big swing and a miss, 93 mile per hour. Looks like a slider or sinker. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. Low and outside, 1-1. Bottom of the eighth. The Astros commentators there hoping for Altuve to hit it out to the Crawford boxes, which is where they're sitting right now. 1 ball, 1 strike to Altuve. Here's a pitch. He grounds this one to Bregman, an easy play for him. Broken bat. Another broken bat, man. Who is making those bats? 1 away. Christian Walker comes to the plate. Walker with a strikeout. And what like a walk? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Ground out, walk, strikeout. Let's see if he can do something. I'll take a look at the chat in just a second to see if anybody got my question earlier about Christmas chicken. 85 miles an hour on the outside lower corner, strike 1. Eric says, when you're in your comfy place, make sure you hang a sign on the door that says no Red Sox girlfriend allowed. Especially if they have purple hair and big glasses and are large and in charge. You know what I'm saying? Check swing. He doesn't go around, says the umpire. 1-1 is the count. Casey says there's a German flea market there. Cape Coral, Florida. That's interesting. Outside. Ball 2, 2-1. Yeah, the Oktoberfest is so common everywhere. Even here they have the Oktoberfest thing. China even has the German Oktoberfest. They have a lot of German companies there, though, so they're catering to them. Especially in certain areas where I was at. I was close to Shanghai for a while in a place called Jiangsu province, and inside that province, Taitong City, and they have a lot of German companies there. 3 balls and 1 strike to Walker. That's in there. He takes the pitch, the hitter's pitch. He takes it right down the middle. 3-2. Daryl is correct. It is KFC. There is no Popeyes here, unfortunately. Here's the pitch. This is hit high in the air on the infield. The first baseman and the catcher. First baseman takes it. That's out number 2. Christian Walker flies out to the infield. Victor Caratini's due up. Yeah, KFC really started the Christmas chicken thing many years ago through advertising and stuff, and it just became a nationwide thing. So now even the convenience stores and a lot of other places sell Christmas chicken. So people like to get fried chicken as like their Christmas thing, you know, besides Christmas cake. Those are the 2 main things. Strike 1 to Caratini right in there. 2 walks and a strikeout today for the Batman. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. 94 right in the zone. A good cut, but fouled away. 0-2 is the count with 2 outs and nobody on. But every year, there are lines of people getting their chicken on Christmas Day and picking up their pre-ordered Christmas cakes. Those are the 2 main things that you got to get in Japan. But it's still not a holiday. If it's on a weekday, it's a work day. Here comes 0-2 pitch. Low and inside, 1-2. Colonel Sanders. Yep, it's a KFC Colonel Sanders thing, Casey. Yeah, Old Dog says, of course it was KFC. Yeah, definitely KFC. 85 miles an hour below the zone. But the funny thing is, a lot of Japanese don't even realize that. They don't realize that KFC started that. That was an advertising thing. It's just become part of the culture. Just like, having turkey in the U.S. This is hit up the middle, and that's going to be line drive basically to the center fielder for out number 3. Astros 3 up and 3 down in the 8th inning. So they put 2 on the board in the first, 2 on the board in the 6th. And that puts us up 4-1 going into the top of the 9th. We are 3 outs away from winning this series at home. I think I can accept that, taking 2 of 3 back from the dirty Red Sox. Even though we got destroyed yesterday, coming back and winning this game today, very, very important for many reasons. Old Dog says, then greed sets in. Yes, money issue, greed. I remember one of my first years living in Tokyo, I thought, I'm going to do the typical Japanese thing, and on Christmas Day, I'm going to go get Christmas chicken. And I went down to the KFC. I had not pre-ordered anything, and they were a little shocked because everybody had been pre-ordering, right? And so on Christmas Day, they were just coming in to pick up their stuff that was already pre-ordered. And I just told the guy, if there's anything you can make and cook for me, it doesn't matter if it's like chicken strips or fried chicken, whatever it is, chicken strips or the bone-in chicken or whatever, I don't care. Is there like a set, any set that you can make is okay. I don't need like a big pre-ordered meal or anything like that. They were like, okay, we can work something out, but it's going to be a few minutes. And I had a roommate at the time who was Chinese, and he and I both were at home that day doing nothing. We had nothing to do. So I bought enough for both of us, and I had to wait for about 30 minutes just to get it. So I did do the Japan Christmas chicken thing one time. Just because, when in Rome. But that's the only time I've purposefully gone out to KFC to do the Christmas chicken thing. Masataka Yoshida at the plate, Brian Abreu on the mound, and I need to change the Astros pitcher, right? There we go. That's a little too big. There we go. 1 ball, 1 strike on that toss as I'm changing the pitcher out, or the picture of the pitcher out on the screen. Here comes the next pitch. Swing and a miss. 87 miles an hour on that slider, low and inside. I'll tell you what, though, I will say this. We're lucky that we do have Abreu, because if you could pick anybody in the league to come in and replace Hader when he's out, who would you want to pick? I would pick Abreu. I know that Abreu sometimes allows too many walks, but overall, I would just be confident in putting him on the mound, so I'm happy that we still have him. Here's the 1-2. This is grounded up the middle. It's barely going to get through. Altuve was playing a little far over. Yosta gets the single. Pena couldn't close the gap fast enough, and that's one runner on with no outs. Sports Corner says if one of our starters can become a solid third starter, this team would win the division. Yeah, I mean, if we can have just one more dependable reliever and one more dependable starter. First pitch to Romy Gonzalez. He doesn't go around, says the umpire. Ball 1-0. I wouldn't mind them bringing back blue ball. 86 miles an hour below the zone. I mean, he really... He was throwing some really good pitches and was cranking it up there close to 100 miles an hour. I mean, he might be a guy that they should consider bringing back. We'll see. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 86 miles an hour on the slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You live in the hill country? All of Japan is the hill country. Japan's got mountains everywhere. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Romy Gonzalez. Here's the pitch from Abreu. Fouls it off. Count remains 1-2. But if you mean in the countryside, then yes, this is... In Japanese, it's called inaka. Inaka means countryside. So, yes, I do live in the countryside. This light you see coming in from the right side, I've got my sliding doors open. And in my backyard, there's a stone wall, forest, and mountain. That's it. This is hit hard into center field, and that's going to be down for another hit. That's 2 back-to-back hits. 2 singles, nobody out. Wilyer Abreu. Not a terrible pitch. A little low. Just a nice swing there. And lifted it out into the outfield like a little golf swing. 2 on with no outs. Oh, this is an opportunity to get the triple play. I see what's going on here. Wilyer Abreu at the plate. Here's the pitch from Abreu to Abreu. 99 miles an hour. Holy cow. Swing and a miss. It's the battle of the Abreus. Wilyer versus Bryan. 0-1 is the count. Give me my triple play. I deserve it. Here's the 0-1. This is hit high in the air. Pena's underneath it. Infield fly rule, actually. 1 out. No triple play. Womp womp. Those bats made of bamboo, basically. Basically. Oh yeah, Jollibee is definitely here. 99 up and in, swing and a miss. 0-1 to Cedon Rafaela. Runners on first and second with 1 out, 1 strike. Yeah, Mark, we're barely over 50% in likes. Swing and a miss, 100 miles an hour. 100 miles an hour from Bryan Abreu, right in there, and a swing and a miss. Look at that. 4-seam fastball. 0-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. 98 outside. 1-2 is the count. Yeah, you're right, Drambam. Tourists breaking all the rules. No pictures. Yeah, but there are also a lot of Chinese tourists here who get a lot of grief for doing things that generally they can do with no problem back in China. 101 miles an hour. Fouled off. The actual speed on that pitch was 100.5 miles an hour. Came up as 101 on the screen. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. 89 miles an hour. Drifts outside on the slider. 2-2 is the count. Oh, no. Drambam, my bad. I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about a candy. There's a candy with a similar name. Foul tip, strike 3, 100 miles an hour. Yiner holds on to it. That's a strikeout for Abreu. Out number 2. We're 1 out away. Look at that. I mixed up the Jollibee with some candies. I thought you were talking about candy. You said Philippine fried chicken and spaghetti. No, none of that here. None of that. Not a huge amount of Philippine stuff here, actually. There's a little break on the mound right now. They come out to the mound to have a little discussion about Connor Wong, who's at the plate. If you have not liked the live stream, please do so right now. I would appreciate that very much. For those of you who are listening and you're Astros fans, if you love the Stros and you want to follow me, we can goes together all the way to the playoffs. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Rob Refsnyder is actually pinch hitting. Here's the first pitch. Hold up. They said he did not go. The ball was in the dirt. 1-0. No Drambam. I don't think that Tyson started the. Well, you know what? I might be wrong, but I don't think it was Tyson. I might be wrong though. I thought I looked that up before, but I can't remember. But it's possible. It's possible. 2 balls and no strikes to Rob Refsnyder. We have 2 runners on, 2 outs. Refsnyder pinch hitting for Wong. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Right in there, 88 mile per hour slider, strike 1. 2-1 is the count. Let's go Astros indeed. Mark, you are correct. Casey, your comment about Jesus and the fried chicken. Woo! 99 miles an hour on the upper outer edge. Could have been called a strike. It nicked the edge. Nicked the corner. But called a ball. 3-1. Abreu looking for the pitch. He's got what he wants. Here comes the 3-1. Fouled off. Up and in. 98 miles an hour on that fastball. Full count. It comes down to this. It's the top of the 9th. 2 runners on. Full count. 2 outs. The crowd comes to their feet finally. This weary crowd, battered and beaten down from yesterday. Here comes a pitch from Abreu. Strike 3. He got it. 88 miles an hour. Abreu is pumped. I think that's Abreu's first save of the year. 4-1, the Astros win this game. A much earned, well-earned, much-deserved game. Here's that last pitch. The slider gets him. I think he was expecting a fastball, and Abreu mixed it up. That's right. Astros win the series. They come back from a brutal loss yesterday, and they take this game and the series from the Red Sox. A nice comeback at home in Game 3 versus the Dirty Sox. And I am happy to give you a quick scoring summary of this game. Yeah, Daryl, Japan has a ridiculous amount of Kit Kat flavors, and even some that are only available in certain regions. Like if you go to certain airports in certain regions, you can find some flavors of Kit Kats you can't get anywhere else. So they have quite the variety. They have some very delicious and interesting stuff. 1 second. I had to cough, pardon me. Let's take a quick look at the scoring summary. First inning, Pena, homer, left field, 1-0 Astros. Also in the first inning, Diaz, single to left, Altuve scores, 2-0 Astros. It remained that way until the top of the second when Rafaela singled, put the Red Sox on the board 2-1, but the Astros held on. Hunter Brown was a little shaky, But that's it, guys. That's the only freaking run that the Astros would give up in 9 innings. The shaky inning in the second by Hunter Brown. After that, it was lights out. In the bottom of the 6th, Diaz homered to left center field, 415 feet, scoring the Batman Caratini. That put them up 4-1, and that's it. That's all the Astros would need to win this game. Check this out. Check this out. You can't tell me that this isn't more different. This game, it couldn't have been more different than yesterday. The Astros only had 4 hits today, but 4 runs. Yesterday we had, what, about 9 hits or something like that? And scored 1. It was crazy. Today, the Red Sox have 8 hits, score 1 run. So the script is kind of flipped. The only difference is we didn't score 14 runs. We only scored 4. But it is funny to see that the Red Sox got 8 hits today and only have 1 run on the board as a result of their efforts. But the Astros win the series. Very, very important to get this win today because the Submariners are breathing down our necks. They are uncomfortably close, invading our personal space. You know what I'm saying? Hunter Brown gets the win, 9-5 today, 6.2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Walker Buehler's day off, not so much of a day off. He's 7-7 with his loss, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 4 walks. Abreu gets the save with 1 inning pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 strikeouts, no walks. And Bennett Sousa comes in and gets the job done. We can't fail to mention him. The Astros had 3 pitchers. So Sousa comes in for 1.1 innings, no hits, no earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. How do you like that? Abreu was a little shaky, but he got it done, and Sousa was lights out. Astros pitching saved our butts, and the batting did just as much as they needed to do to win this game. Let's take a look now at the scores around the league. Yes, Hunter Brown finally breaks through that 10th win, right? Let's take a look at the scores. Right now, in the bottom of the 6th, the Orioles and the Mariners, the Submariners, are tied up 0-0. Now, this is good, guys, because look at this. The Orioles lost to the Mariners yesterday 1-0. And the Mariners didn't have too many hits. Today, through 6 innings, they have 2 hits. 2 hits against the Orioles and no runs. How about that? In 15 innings of ball against the Orioles, the Mariners have 1 run and only a handful of hits. Bruce Lee approves. The Yankees are up 1-0 in the 3rd over the Twins. Dodgers and the Angels just getting started. The A's and the Rays coming up about 30 minutes later. The Tigers up 1-0 over the Sox. They won that game. Man, that's another one. Look at that. 1 run only and 5 hits against the White Sox. It's a sad result, but pretty interesting, right? That's the 70th win for the Tigers. Anything else of note? The Rangers lose. The Rangers are exactly 500 right now. Look at this. They are 61-61 as they lose to the Diamondbacks. Phillies get destroyed. Look at that. By the Reds, 8-0. Every time I see the Reds logo now, I think of the local team, the Hiroshima Carp. They use the same C for their logo here in Hiroshima. Stands for Carp instead of Cincinnati. Wow, Marlins destroyed the Guardians. The Curbs beat the Blue Jays, so they do us a little bit of a favor there. Blue Jays stay at 70 wins. They don't move up. Astros are at 68 and 53. I mean, look at that. We're not too far behind. I mean, look at this. 68 and 53. Blue Jays 70 and 51. I mean, come on now. We're only 2 wins away from 70. The Blue Jays are at 70 wins. The Tigers are at 70 wins. We're only a couple of wins behind. I mean, we could easily get there. We can get there. This game here, though, very important for us today. I'm going to be following this game closely. I wonder if I can even watch this game. I don't know. I'm going to try to pull this up on the MLB. I don't know if I'm allowed to watch it or not, but I'm very interested in watching it. Let me do a quick search. I'm searching right now for this game. Seattle versus Baltimore. End of the 6th. They're going into the 7th inning. Yeah, it's just radio. I'm only allowed to listen to it on the radio because my subscription for MLB TV is just for the Astros. So the only games that I can really watch other than the Astros are the game of the day. You know, like they have a free game of the day that you can watch. And let's see here. I can show you the screen, I think. If you scroll through the games, there it is right here. The free game of the day. You see that? Is the Nationals versus the Royals. Definitely not interested in that game. But I'll keep an eye on the Mariners game, and see how that comes out. Hopefully the Orioles will have a miraculous win. They'll pull it out, and the Astros can regain the 1-game lead. But as it stands right now, we are half a game ahead. Back to the live chat. Back to the live chat. Let me take a look. What am I missing here? Mr. Page says fried chicken is good any time of the year. It's not necessarily healthy, but yeah, it's pretty good. And for those of you who don't know Japanese fried chicken, it's called karaage. Karaage. But it's just Japanese style fried chicken. It's pretty good, but it's also not healthy for you. Manuel says, have you been to Iwakuni? They have the best chicken curry I've ever had. Yeah, I've been to Iwakuni. For those of you who don't know, Iwakuni is southwest of Hiroshima City, and there are some U.S. military bases. So Iwakuni, the city, they have a lot of different foreign restaurants and shops because lots of soldiers on base, and many of them live right there close to the base. The soldiers that are not living on base, many of them have families and stuff, and they actually settle kind of in the community there in Iwakuni. But I've been there a couple of times, Manuel. When you say that they have the best chicken curry, are you talking about like a Japanese restaurant in Iwakuni? Or are you talking about a foreign-owned restaurant? I can't say that I've ever had chicken curry. Usually the curry here is either beef or pork or a combination of the two. Chicken curry is not very common. That's kind of a special sounding thing. That's kind of like saying chicken ramen. Ramen noodles with chicken, that's not common. Ramen with pork is the most common. But you know, you can get a variety of food here in Japan. I've had a couple of people say, if you don't really like seafood so much, how can you survive in Japan? And I think, what kind of question is that? Because they assume Japan is an island country, so everybody eats sushi and fish all the time. Well, yes, sushi and fish and seafood and things like that, seaweed, these things are all popular in Japan. Of course they are. But Japan has actually a very, very diverse cuisine. You have a lot of access, especially in the big cities. You have a ton of access to foreign foods and Western foods and different Asian foods and even some European foods, different styles of foods. There's a really wonderful Mexican themed restaurant in Hiroshima City. It is the best. They have awesome nachos and burritos and things like that. If you ever come to Hiroshima City, I can highly recommend it. I can take you there, actually. It's called Morgan. Morgan is my favorite. It's even called American comfort food. They call it American comfort food, and it really is. It really is. When I go there, I can't make up my mind what I want off of the menu because everything is so good. And they serve it in these big portions too, so it's American style. It really is. Thank you all for liking the live stream. If you have not done that yet today, I would appreciate you doing that now. I don't even know how many likes we got up to. Let me refresh my screen and take a quick look. Picked up a few more subscribers, maybe about 5 or 6 today, or a few more. Thank you very much. Likes got up to 97. Didn't quite get to 100. We need about 3 more likes to get to 100, but still pretty good considering. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Mr. Page says if you don't hit the like button, you don't want the Astros to win. That's right. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel. That means you like the Astros. If you donate to the channel, that means you love this community. That's absolutely true. And let's go indeed, Jay. Thank you all for being here. All of my members, thank you for being here so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for those who donated. I got the super chat early on, and I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate the donations, all the support that you guys and gals are giving me to help me keep this channel going on and keep me coming back. And yes, Robert says, I told y'all we're going to take these stinkers to the woodshed. That's right. Hyperdime says, last night my first stream tuning in. Thanks for what you do. Hey, thank you for being here. Welcome to the channel. And you're very, very welcome. I'm happy to do it. I haven't missed a game in quite a while. My plan is to be 100% between now and the World Series, if you know what I'm saying. Robert says, you're 100% right on the lineup, but the Astros insist on acting like they're not seeing what we see. Go Stros. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you so much. And that's it. I think that's all we have for today. I am going to take one more quick look and see if anything has come to pass in that Orioles-Mariners game, because I'm really, really interested in that. We've got the Orioles coming up in 2 days, right? We get a break. The Astros earn a much-deserved break, and then they will be playing the Orioles 2 days from now. Wow, we are predicted. Take a look at this. This game is predicted Astros 72.8%. Look at the pitcher that's on the mound here for the O's. Whoa, I didn't mean for that to go crazy. Let me resize that and move it around. That's better. Okay, so if you look at this pitcher, Brandon Young, ERA 6.7. He's 0-6. 57 hits in 44 innings, 40 strikeouts, 20 walks. So he's averaging more than a hit per inning and a walk every other inning. Framber Valdez scheduled to be on the mound in 2 days. I think this is a... If I were ever going to bet that we could win a game, it should be this one, right? It should be. Should be. Where are they playing? At home. This is a home game in Daikin Park. Should be good to go. Let's take a look at that Orioles. Seattle's on the board, 1-0. How do they score? Where's this? Where's it at? Oh, there it is. Right there. Naylor singled and scored Rodriguez in the top of the 7th. Right now, okay, that's it. That's all they got. The top of the 7th is over. So the Mariners got a single with a guy on, scored him. It's 1-0 going into the bottom of the 7th. So the Orioles are down by 1 run. they can still pull it out. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But I think that's it for today. Where's my live stream? Where's my live chat rather? Oh, there it is. It's in pop out mode. That's why. I was trying to figure out where it's at. It's in pop out mode. Okay, I see it. Okay, we're all caught up. Thank you guys and gals once again. We have a break and I'll see you in 2 days. If there are any other updates such as injuries or information about Josh Hader, I will update that. I will post it in the community. Probably will post some short clips of highlights from this game. You can be looking for those. If you haven't already, feel free to recommend the channel to any Astros fans that you know. I would like to continue to get the fan base to grow and the community to grow. As soon as we get to 1,000 subscribers, I am going to do a giveaway. I've got 3 postcards that I'm going to mail from Hiroshima, and I've got 1 small box of goodies, and I will be sharing that with you soon so you can see the details of what that is. And I'm going to do a drawing, and 1 lucky person is going to get that main box of stuff, and I'll ship that to you as a special thanks for helping the channel get to 1,000 subscribers. But for now, that's all she wrote. Thank you so much. The only thing left to say is go Astros, and I will see you 2 days from now for the start of the Orioles the Orioles series. For now, have a great morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are, and thank you so much.